There's probably not anyone in the country who's not familiar with Red Fox after only two, God, is it the Third World War? And I don't know. It's one of the most popular stars on television in Sanford and Son, Mr. Red Fox. Yeah! Red Fox! Turn off the motor. I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Well, it's April.
They said you were coming in a strange way, but...
Red, good. Pleasure. Hey, Doc.
Well, you flipped out.
What is it?
It's a Dune buggy, isn't it?
Right. I mean, all those dunes in it. It's a Harry, too.
Yeah. Do you actually take that thing out and drive it around?
Every day I drive it. Come to work, I go out and drive the street. Anywhere I want to go.
That is crazy.
It won first prize last year at the Las Vegas Dune Buggy Derby.
That's customized, what you call a customized thing? Now, you have to do all that work yourself, or what?
No, to wash it, you just take the garden hose. As a matter of fact, that's the business I'm going in, doing cars like that.
Really?
And you wash it with a garden hose.
What is the stuff? It looks like material.
It's chemical stuff, and I can't tell you about it, because...
It's a secret?
It's illegal. That's illegal.
No, not illegal, Paul. Only you would think of that.
No, it's not illegal. It's just a special process, and it's not new, but the process we have is new because it adheres to anything but a glass.
Well, I see. Never seen it before. It looks like a Velcro or a
velvet,
velour or something like velvet.
Velvet.
What's it good for?
Well, I mean, for a couple of miles a gallon.
You know, I could bring my automobile to you if I wanted, and you would do this to it.
Mm-hmm. What would you do to me?
Well, what would that?
No, I could do your automobile, the whole automobile, or just the top.
And you just wash it with a hose?
Or say you had an old leather chair at home, you spray that and make it brand new. You know, it'd be velvet, it's guaranteed.
Good for you. How's the show go? Well, I know how the show's going. It's going as well as ever.
Yeah, we're about fourth position or third, somewhere right now.
That's not bad.
I would say it's not bad.
Yeah. You were on the cover with Time magazine this week with Archie Bunker, Maude, yourself. I think in the article it said something. You work with Aaron Rubin, who writes the dialogue for Sanford and Son, or part of the head writer, I guess, right?
Yeah, he's the head writer. He does, like whoever writes it, he goes through it next.
You were quoted as saying, I think this is the correct translation, is that you help him, Aaron is white, and you said you translate the script into spook.
Yeah, well, it's just a terminology.
Yeah, I know what it means, but...
Right, it's equivalent, to years ago, the big N. But I say it, and anybody says it doesn't matter to me. I don't care what they say, long as don't lower my money no more.
Yeah. So, how could you give us an example of how you would translate something?
Well, we had a script where it said we were going to have pork roast, and I said, well, black people don't have pork roast. We eat roast pork. It's just a difference in knowing terminology, because a lot of things that said black, if you say it white, it means entirely something else. I could do a few things, but can't.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Well, a lot of the terms that came into the general white vocabulary were hip expressions long before among blacks, right?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Right on and all that stuff like that. Hey now and fuzzy wuzzy and all that.
Hey man and all that jazz and so forth.
That's all. Well, it's just people. That's how I don't look at no color of people. If everybody was blind, we wouldn't have no prejudice.
You're right. People would find something to fight about, I'm sure, argue about, even if they were all black or all white.
Oh, sure, you'd find something, bump into each other or something like that. There'd be some kind of argument about something. But it's just still people, human beings. If nuclear war comes, everybody will be black.
Yes. That is for sure. And still.
And crisp.
Yes, and crisp on the outside. You haven't done your act for a long time, have you?
No, I had some jokes written down, but I didn't want to tell them.
Well,
there's a couple about the Dune buggy. No, it says, you put the velvet on a Volkswagen, somebody would think you were driving Kate Smith around.
You'll hear from Kate Smith. Mm-hmm.
Well, I haven't heard from her before.
Well, you might now.
Make me no difference.
Do you remember the first joke you ever told in your act? One that we could tell. Now, I've seen you work before many times,
yes,
Fred, and you have an adult act.
White handkerchief?
Your act is very adult.
It is.
Like if you're 206.
Safe.
Thank you, Fred. My first joke. It's nice, too, isn't it?
Oh, yes, that's top
It
grade.
started off like this.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Go on. I'm hip.
See, now, listen, John, I was coming here tonight, and I saw the most deplorable thing happen. A fella got on the bus and was molesting a lady on the bus.
Good heavens.
And, I mean, he really, she took a knife out of her purse and stabbed him right in the hand.
Oh.
Now, if you ever catch this bus on Wilshire,
I remember you.
that's old, ain't it?
I told, but
I don't know who did it first, but I did it trying to get into business. You know, it was a pretty long time ago, but it worked. You know, it worked for me, so.
you know, I heard a funny joke today, and I told it to our director, Bobby Quinn, and you very seldom tell just jokes, but when you hear one, you kind of like to share it. Have you heard this one about Jack Nicklaus, who was finished? You don't mind my telling this, do you? It's a funny joke.
Me?
I think you'd like this.
I don't care.
And he comes to the 18th green, and a fellow is playing in a blind golf tournament. They have golf tournaments, you know, for people who are blind. And Jack Nicklaus watches this fellow for a while, and he is magnificent. He's holding putts from 10, 12, 15 feet away. And Jack Nicklaus comes up to him and says, "This is remarkable." He said, "You have absolutely no sight." He said, "How do you play?" And the blind golfer says, "As they do." He says he has his caddy, sets him, helps him address the ball, tells him the distance, and he says, "Instinctively, I can feel the wind," and so forth. And he says, "When I get to the green, the caddy taps the back of the hole." He said, "They give me the privilege of measuring the distance, and then I line it up and go to the sound." And Jack Nicklaus says, "Gee, I'd love to play with you sometime." The fellow says, I would be honored to play with the greatest player in the world." But the fellow who's blind said, "To make it interesting, why don't we play for something like..." You know, and Jack says, "All right, we'll play for $1 a hole." The fellow says, "No, let's really make it. How about $1,000 a hole?" And Jack Nicklaus says, "I couldn't possibly do that. I mean, what would people think playing against a blind person, $1,000 a hole?" And the fellow says, "Well, you see, the biggest golfer in the world, and you won't take me up on that bet." He says, "Wait till people find out about this." And so he goads Jack Nicklaus into it, and Jack says, "All right, we'll play. What time do you want to tee off?" And the guy says, 11 o'clock tonight. That's your choice. What a lovely story. I just thought I would throw that one in to get you going. Have you got some lines there?
No, I had a book somewhere. Someone had kept it.
Is this yours?
I've written 1,000 jokes, over 1,000.
Yeah?
I haven't written them, you know, but I just collected them. It took 3 years. A friend of mine, Billy Allen, who's a black comedian, and you never heard of him because he's famous in a small town.
Yeah.
But we have been very good friends, and we've been putting a book together.
Yeah. Is this part of this? Is this yours?
Yes.
I thought this was one of our sponsors.
No.
Oh.
It's sponsored by
Anything that's on this table, I sell back here, Red.
Really? I wish you could sell this for me.
you-
No, just reach anywhere and just turn and point and read it. It's a joke with no dirty jokes in the whole
This is not
collection.
set up, is it at all? I have not seen this
You've
thing.
never seen it before.
In other words, I can just open it.
Yeah. It's
All right, well, how about right there?
anywhere. It's just jokes, you know, like simplicity.
The harassed mother of 9 children was asked by a friend, "Well, dear, what do you want your next one to be?" "A grandchild," she replied. That's cute.
I thought it would be, you know.
Little girl was telling about her stay at summer camp. "First day, I didn't have hardly any friends," she said. "The second day, I had a few friends. The third day, I had friends and enemies." That's kind of cute.
Yeah.
What do? You just collect these things?
Yeah, I collect them, you know, from different places. People tell you stories, and you read a book sometime, you might find one nice one. So like I said, Billy and I have been putting this together for about 3 years, and we're going to try to get it published.
4-year-old. Know what's the hardest number for me to write? 5-year-old. No, what? 4-year-old. 11. 5-year-old. How come? 4. Because I never know which one to put first.
It's certainly anyway. It's,
Hey,
it's
that's
different
not-
subjects, you know, all through. It's, you know, like when you put different categories, you get to like saving money.
Yeah? Yeah, that's crazy. Are you going to go back to clubs, you think? Or are you going to play someone you're not doing the show?
No, I think I get more money, you know, out of clubs. So that's what I'm trying to do, get some money to save, you know, save my family, you know, from having to go to work after I'm gone.
Yeah. Does everybody, you ever think about that after you're gone, like most
Sure,
people
I
do?
want to leave my old lady something so she can be comfortable with whoever she's with.
I've done that, and I'm not gone. Yeah.
Your way is better. Yeah. I'd rather be here.
Yeah, I'll go with that. You ever think about that? What's going to happen to you after you? Does that bother you? Never. That's one question I've never asked you. You've been on this show 4 dozen times.
No, more than that.
5 dozen times, or whatever.
No, something I never think about.
Well, the older you get, you're going to have to start thinking about it. No, like old people start straightening up, you know, getting ready for Jesus, you know, when they get older, you know,
Yeah.
and it's important. They raise hell, and then pretty soon they got to straighten up. Coming, you know, all this.
You've raised a little hell in your life.
And
now.
gonna raise some more.
Oh, boom, boom, boom. What does that sound like a stand-up burlesque sketch, right?
Water?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's water. We'll take a break. We're going to come right back, so stay tuned.
That's what you don't want. That's what I don't want.